5 tickets to the 2:30 showing in 3D, $67.50 please. How much for 2D? $55. How much for 1D? Mama's Boys is about an African-American family, and it's a mom raising her 2 teenage sons, and there's also an uncle and a grandfather.
He's one of only a handful of African-American syndicated cartoonists. And Kraft uses his strip to make people laugh, but also to send a message about life, heritage, and responsibility based on his own experiences growing up in Washington Heights. So how much has this neighborhood changed in the last 20 years since you've been here?
Well, the buildings still look the same. They've held up pretty well. I think the biggest thing is that you don't see kids playing on the street. And we were a group that, we played all the time, from 8 o'clock in the morning until almost midnight sometimes. So this is where I grew up. I lived here for the first 30 years of my life. So it would start where, Kenny appeared, they'd come, and I'd be there, yo, Jerry! A lot of my friends when I was coming up were either raised by their mother or their grandmother. I was one of the few kids that had both a mother and father living at home. So I wanted to sort of pay respect to those hardworking moms that raised kids that were as bad as some of my friends. We had a lot of block moms. If you ran across the street without looking, you'd have Miss Duncan. Jerry, watch this, I'm gonna tell your mother. As I've gotten older and once I had kids, I kind of like writing for mom a little better because I've got that sort of parental aspect to me now. The one that I based it on a little bit more was Ms. Smalls. And Ms. Smalls had the house where we all went. The door was always open. There'd always be something to eat. She'd be cooking pound cake and all kinds of stuff. And you'd go in and you'd just hang out.
And the strong influences in his life helped him to find his creative voice, a sense of drive, and a tenacity that he would need to see his dream come to life. He went to high school in Harlem and got his BFA from the School of Visual Arts. He spent 8 years as a copywriter for a small ad agency while honing his ideas for his own comic strip. When Jerry first started shopping his comic strip idea around, he found out just how tough it was going to be.
I sent out to different syndicates, and I got rejection letters from all of them, including King Features, but on the rejection letter, Jay Kennedy had taken the time to actually handwrite a note saying, okay, keep up the good work. It's close, but not there yet.
So he continued to work on his strip and get new ideas while he was working as an editor for Sports Illustrated for Kids.
I'm around kids all the time, and you could just really sit back and watch, and they say the funniest things.
In 1992, Jerry got his first break almost out of spite.
My dad used to bring in a local newspaper, and there was a comic strip in there, and used to just drive me crazy because I used to criticize it all the time. And one day my father was like, you know what, he's in the paper, you're not, so you need to give him a break. Basically, put up or shut up. I basically came up with a comic strip that was the precursor to Mama's Boys. It was called The Outside View. So I called up the editor of that newspaper. I asked him if I could submit some stuff. He's like, sure. And he liked it, and he said that he'd run it. And I couldn't wait for that next issue to come out, and I anxiously opened it up. Then he looked at it, his eyes popped out. So I guess my art career kind of started more out of spite and wanting to show my dad than anything. Although, he was very supportive.
Since then, he's been published in numerous newspapers throughout the country. When Jerry decided to begin writing books, he was met with the same industry resistance.
This one was like, yeah, we're not interested in this kind of good time style of humor.
Dynamite!
And I was really kind of offended by that because it was a different kind of thing than what I was trying to do. It was more insult-oriented.
Handsome, you look like a string of spaghetti with a little meatball on top.
It was one of those that they lived in the projects, and it's like, okay, struggling all the time, and there really weren't that many good times.
He's an author of 3 graphic novels and had immediate success since self-publishing the first one, Mama's Boys, as American as Sweet Potato Pie.
The only people who bought the first book were African Americans. The second book opened up a little bit more because I had reading groups and libraries. I had people like that saying, okay, we're going to take 50 of your books and we're going to do like a reading thing with our kids. And they gave it to the kids.
Now he spends much of his downtime volunteering and speaking at schools and youth centers, trying to inspire his audience through art and humor.
So whatever circle you did for the head, we're going to do that same circle for the body. With kids who are younger, 5 and 6, they think they can do anything. But like 12 or 13, some of these kids are really shut down. I'll do like a triangle. Mr. Kraft, I can't do it. I can't draw. I can't. It's like, relax.
Jerry Kraft provides enrichment programs, specifically cartooning, for our students, and he's introducing them to an art form that normally they would not have had access to.
And now we're going to thicken that arm up a little bit. We're going to do another L inside that.
Jerry is one of the most popular facilitators of enrichment that we have. They come out not thinking that they could even do a caricature, and they come out with a character of SpongeBob or the president, and they walk around so proud of their efforts.
He produces over 50 strips a year, but for Jerry Kraft, the long nights of work are just another day in the funny papers.
I spend quite a few nights at this table till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, meeting deadlines, but it's fun.